Today I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about how to find time to write when you're busy. If you're new here, hi, my name is Charlie and I'm a writer. If you're wondering why I'm bringing this up now, it's actually because I have a hard time doing this in my own life. I have a full-time job, I'm a part-time student, I have a dog to take care of, so it's important to me that I find time to do the other thing that I really enjoy, which is writing. Over the course of my lifetime, there have been many moments where I've had to really think about, do I really have time to do this? And the answer that I've always come up with is yes, but there are certain things that I've had to do in order to make it work. Let's not waste any time. Let's just jump right in and I will tell you guys my little tips and tricks and hacks that I found that have allowed me to really find time to write when I'm busy. So the first tip that I have for you guys today is to prioritize your writing time. I know this tip might not resonate with everybody, but in my personal opinion, you are what you do. The more time you spend on a specific thing, the more you become that thing. If writing is really important to you, then you need to put it higher up on your priority list. I know that there's a million other things that you should be doing in your day, but if you move writing higher up on your priority list, then you're going to find the time to do it. For me, this looks like waking up an hour earlier so that I can write before I start getting ready for the day. It might mean that I sacrifice some time watching TV on the weekend to work on my projects. Sometimes there are things that we're doing that you can put to the wayside for a moment to work on your project. If writing is really important to you and if it's something that you want to make more time for, then that would be my first tip. Prioritize it over things that don't mean as much to you and that aren't as important as your writing projects. The next tip that I have for you is to use hidden time. A few years back, when I first started writing again, I was in this situation where I was working from 8:30 to 4:30 every day, and it took me about an hour to commute to work. There was a lot of time being eaten up during the week by work and getting to work. Kind of what that meant for me was that during the week, by the time I got home, by the time I had stopped at the grocery store or gone to the gym, I rarely had time to write before I had to go to bed so that I could get back up the next day and go to work again. So what I ended up doing was I used my 2 15-minute breaks and my lunch to work on my project. And it really allowed me to sort of get into the habit of writing every day, because before that I was just writing on the weekends, maybe an hour here and there. It wasn't something that I could really do regularly like I wanted to. So alongside working on my projects during my lunch breaks and my other breaks that I had during the workday, I also utilized my commute to and from work to think about my project. I would use this time to brainstorm new scenes, to think about dialogue or how my characters interact, any sort of world building or setting aspects that I was really trying to work out. Sometimes I would listen to podcasts or some sort of audiobook, craft book that would help me to kind of nail down something that I might be struggling with during that 1 hour to and from my job. I would also use any time that I spent waiting in line at the grocery store or waiting for my doctor, at a doctor's appointment. I would even use the walks that I took or time at the gym to think about my projects and to make notes on my phone. I would sort of double that time then and multitask. That really helped because I was able to sort of work out any kinks. If I had a moment of inspiration while I was at the gym or in the middle of a workout or on my commute to the office, then I would pull out my phone and I would just make a quick voice memo of those things, and then I would look back on them later and use that as information to add into my project. Tip number 3 is to stack your habits. Some people call this productive multitasking. It's sort of like what I was mentioning before, where I was at the gym and I was simultaneously making voice memos on my phone. Doing this allows you to really maximize your time and energy. It almost adds hours to your day, right? You're on your commute to work, you're going to be using that time anyways. And if you're doing something that might be a little bit more mindless, like going for a walk, for example, you can really take advantage of that time by thinking about your project and coming up with new scenes or even writing the scenes out in your notes app on your phone. Okay, tip number 4 is probably something that you've heard a million times, and that is to wake up earlier. If you could wake up even just 30 minutes earlier than you are waking up today, you could potentially add 30 full minutes of work on your project project every single day that you wouldn't have had before. This is one of my favorite tips, and I know, like I said, you've heard it a million times. If you've watched any productivity video on YouTube, you have heard wake up at 5 a.m. You'll have a full hour. Wake up half an hour earlier. You'll be able to get more done. The truth of the matter is, and the reason why that is mentioned so often, is because it is true. If you wake up earlier, you are adding time into your day. This is especially true if you live with other people and those people that you live with get up around the same time as you. If you wake up earlier than they do, that is one full hour or one full half hour or however. You have a big chunk of time there. That is going to be completely 100% your time where everybody else is asleep. It's quiet and all it is you and your whip and your writing, and that's literally all that it is. Another reason why this is such a great tip for writers specifically is that studies have shown that if you work on a creative task first thing in the morning, right after you wake up, you're more connected to your creativity, which means that more likely than not, you're going to have better ideas for your fictional projects in the morning. And so for that reason, this is probably my favorite tip on this entire list. I think that this is a really important tip. I know some people are not going to be early risers. Some people aren't going to like this tip, but it is what it is. It really works. It's super helpful for me, and I know it will help you too. So if you haven't tried it or if you've been reluctant, which I totally understand because waking up at 5 a.m. is no joke. It sucks. I'm not going to lie. Like, it really does suck to wake up that early, especially if you struggle to fall asleep like I do. But over time, your body will get used to it and it will be so much easier for you. So I really recommend that you try waking up just even 30 minutes earlier than you usually do to focus on your project. This brings me to tip number 5, which is stick to a routine. It reduces decision fatigue, so you don't have to figure out when or how you're going to do something. You just do it. It's already in your calendar, and also it helps to build momentum. The more that you repeat a habit in the same time and the same way, the more it becomes second nature to you. Eventually, as you start to do this and you miss a day, it starts to feel almost wrong because it begins to become something that you look forward to every single day. Plus, if you're really busy, it adds an anchor to your day, which can help bring a little bit of stability when everything else is feeling a little chaotic. Essentially, keeping with a routine and scheduling in that writing session like it's an appointment will help you to build a habit that lasts a long time. Tip number 6, prioritize writing at least once a week. Sometimes daily writing is not realistic. I know for me, lately, it has been difficult to find time to do it every single day. Even when I'm waking up early in the morning, sometimes it can be really hard to actually just get down to work and start writing. For this reason, pick 1 or 2 days out of the week where it's a writing day. This could be on a weekend when you have a little bit more time, or sometime during the week when your workload is not as heavy. Let it be flexible. Don't say, I'm gonna write every single Monday and every Saturday. Sometimes things happen and it's easy to beat yourself up when you miss a writing session, so just let it be flexible. If you're not able to write Monday, maybe Tuesday would work, or Wednesday, or maybe you can schedule in an extra writing session the week after. Tip number 7. Tip number 7 is a fun one. It's also really helpful if you're struggling to find time to write because of a busy social life. Tip number 7 is to involve others. So what I would do is find a friend who is potentially working on something of their own. Maybe they're working on homework, maybe they've got a work deadline, or maybe they're also a writer, and schedule a writing session with the two of you together. Go to the library with this person, go to a cafe, meet at one of your houses, whatever that looks like, and have a writing session together. This not only helps you to build a sense of community, but it'll help you get your projects done. This also serves as a sense of accountability. Tip number 8 is set micro goals. So instead of aiming for an hour-long writing session, try to commit to 10 minutes. If you have a word goal of 1,000 words for the day, maybe try 300. Small chunks add up really fast. 300 words a day is 2,100 words a week. 2,100 words a week is 8,400 words a month, which is a lot of words. It adds up really quickly. Tip number 9, use Pomodoro timers. If you aren't new to this channel, then you guys already know that I'm a huge fan of Pomodoro timers. I love them. I think that they're super useful. And the reason is because I oftentimes am competing against this clock to try to get as much done in a small amount of time as I possibly can. This also helps me to get into focus mode really, really quickly. And it prevents me from looking back on what I've already written and trying to edit it because I'm so focused on just getting words down that I'm not really thinking about what it looks like. And finally, tip number 10, leave yourself a breadcrumb. I've recently started doing this and I found it really helpful. Basically, at the end of every writing session, I've started jotting down my notes for what is coming up next. The reason why this is so helpful is because when I start writing the next day, I'm already prepared for what's going to happen. I have already thought about my next scene and what needs to happen in the next scene, or if I've left off mid-scene, then I already know what I was thinking about adding in the remaining part of the scene. Basically, it helps me to know what to write next. This is especially helpful if you're a pantser like myself. It just makes restarting a lot easier, which then prevents me from sitting at my laptop staring at the screen waiting for the words to come out. I don't know about you guys, but I sometimes struggle when I'm sitting down for the first time in the morning to do my writing session. So by leaving myself a breadcrumb, I'm able to just read that really quickly and then I'm immediately writing because I've got that, oh, that's what I was thinking, already laid out on paper for me. So that's it. Those are my tips. Tell me, what did you guys think about today's video? Also, if you have any tips that I didn't mention, write them down in the comments. This is not only helpful for myself, but for the rest of our community. If you liked today's video and you'd like to see more writing tips, or if you're interested in my writing vlogs or following along with my writing journey, please give this video a like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. As always, I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!